Did you hear that? Listen, there it is again. Oh, I know what it is. It's that dreadful list of things I'll get to next year, and it's knocking at your door. Chances are the miraculous time slots that you thought you would find to finish your book are about as easy to pin down as the Tooth Fairy and the Easter Bunny. My point is, miraculous time slots do not exist, but you keep hoping that they're going to show up one day, don't you? You may feel exhausted, stressed, overwhelmed, and like you're barely keeping up with life. Well, if any of this describes you, you're in good company and you're just feeling burnout. All you need is a refreshing dose of encouragement sent your way. So hey, don't worry, that's what I'm here for. First, let's face the fact that there's only so much time in the day. This is true for every single person on the planet, and it's not going to be any different for you. Repeat after me. There are no miraculous time slots. There are no miraculous time slots. There are no miraculous time slots. Ouch! Landing hard on reality hurts when we've fallen from such a great height of fantasy, doesn't it? But trust me, you're in a good place, because the person who is living in reality can make some real progress in fighting burnout. Let's begin. When someone asks you, when do you feel refreshed? Or how do you recharge? What's the first thing that comes to mind? If you immediately think of disengaging from responsibilities by scrolling mindlessly on social media or binging your favorite show, then now might be a good time to evaluate the strategies you're currently using to feel refreshed. Don't get me wrong, there's no judgment here. These activities have their place. I scroll and I binge from time to time, but scrolling and binging do not pour anything into the empty spaces that are left when you're burned out. So, if that were my only way of refreshing my soul, I would probably begin tomorrow feeling as drained as I did today. And I won't have enough energy to get things done. I'll feel like I'm working with no emotional resources if I try to invest in loved ones. I'll operate in survival mode, just like everyone who has actually suffered a fire. So if I'm burned out, then what should I do? Because if I'm burned out, that is exactly what has happened. A fire has torn through our souls. So to keep from continuing the ruthless cycle of just getting through the day, we need to make sure that we're fighting burnout by spending our time in a way that actually refreshes our souls instead of adding to the feelings of being drained. If we only choose pastimes where we are disengaging from life every time we feel anxiety, exhaustion, or stress, instead of actually confronting our feelings of burnout, then we might feel stress-free for that brief couple of hours, but then when we return to our lives, we will be even more exhausted or anxious. Disengaging is not the answer. It's time to evaluate our strategies for refreshment and think about ways to engage. So let's look at 5 tips that will help you when you're feeling burnout. Tip number 1, connect with God. This may seem like a no-brainer. Connecting with God looks different for everyone, but one thing is for sure. All of us need an authentic, undistracted time to connect with God. That's being engaged, not disengaged. And the key here is to be undistracted. Listen, if I invite you to get coffee with me so that we can hang out and catch up, but then when you actually arrive at the coffee shop, I'm sitting at the table with my AirPods in, glancing at you every now and then, but most of the time working on my laptop, would you feel like we had quality time together? I don't think so. In the same way, our souls need real face-to-face time with God in order to be truly refreshed. And you don't have to block off a huge amount of time to do so. Look, think back a minute ago at the beginning of this video when we talked about what we do when we're stressed. Isn't it interesting that so often we choose to pull back from life instead of lean in order to cope with burnout? No wonder scrolling and binging never work to end our weariness. We don't need to disengage when we're burned out. We need to engage. And God is the author of life. He's the one we need to engage with. It doesn't take that much time to recharge. Here are some ideas to connect with God. Take a walk or a hike and pray while you do so. Go to your favorite coffee shop and read your Bible, or join a worship night at your church and praise. Listen to a sermon or a podcast, but then follow up asking God, how can you practically apply what you've just learned to your life? There are so many ways that you can connect with God in the nooks and crannies of your day. He delights in us and He loves spending time with you. Our job is just to come to Him with a heart that's ready and give Him our undivided, albeit burnt out, attention. Tip number 2, practice gratitude. You may already know that taking time to be thankful actually reduces stress levels. So why don't we do it more often? When we focus on negative aspects of our lives and are constantly replaying stressors that are in our minds, then we become hyper-focused on stress and we have tunnel vision. Stress becomes all we can see. And if stress is all that we can see, it's going to be infinitely more difficult to come back from burnout. Proverbs 17:22 reads, "A cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones." I challenge you to take 5 minutes today to sit down and number off a few things, either in your head or on paper, that you are thankful for. It can be as simple as being thankful for the weather, thankful for your health today, thankful for a conversation with a friend. Absolutely anything will be helpful as long as it brings you a feeling of gratitude. Being thankful has a powerful effect on our brains in reframing negative thoughts with a conscious effort to focus on the good. Tip number 3, trust God with the things that are out of your control. I know this is easier said than done. Sometimes feelings of being overwhelmed and anxious come from circumstances that we have no power over though. And if you're feeling burned out, you can likely point out several key stressors in your life. Use a filter to identify what is within your power to change and what is not. Give God everything in prayer, but then let go of the parts that you have no power to control or change. Using your time and energy on things that you can't do anything about is futile. And if you actually stop using all of that time and energy, think about how much more you will have instantly. 1 Peter 5:7 reads, "Cast all your anxiety on Him because He cares for you." God is ready for you to dump all your anxious feelings on Him. Anything that is beyond your control, just go ahead and give it to God and focus your time and energy on the things in your life that you can actually change. Tip number 4, prioritize your health. You might be surprised at how much better you will feel after getting a good night's sleep. If you are drained, take a minute to evaluate how your physical health might be affecting you mentally. Take time to make sure your basic needs for healthy food and good sleep and regular exercise, just movement, are being met. These are all habits that lower your stress levels and help you have a clear mind. Now, sometimes situations feel beyond our capacity to handle only because our physical bodies are not getting what they need to have a better capacity. Tip number 5, find a community. Feelings of burnout often include emotions of isolation and loneliness. When we choose to connect with people who love us, we are reminded of who we are. God created us to have people walk alongside us in life, and community is a powerful tool in being emotionally and spiritually healthy. It provides us with a safe space to verbalize anything that we're feeling. Having this kind of support system is a crucial tool that we can use to address burnout in our lives. I see you shrugging that last one off. Come back now and truly ask yourself, do you have a like-minded community that you meet with regularly? If not, then it's time to change that. When you fight burnout effectively, you are taking charge of your mental, emotional, and spiritual health. And using these 5 simple steps will help you repair and recover from burnout. It'll help you recharge your heart so that you can engage life with the energy and enthusiasm that you long for. We need you more than you think we do. So you take care of you. Okay? If you are feeling burnout and you need prayer for anything right now, would you stop and leave a comment? I read the comments on my YouTube channel every day, and if I see your prayer request, I will stop what I'm doing and pray for you.